happens when the fourth turning meets fifth generation warfare.
A commentator, international social media sensation, and former Navy intelligence veteran.
This is Human Events with your host, Jack Posobiec.
Christ is king.
Authorities still trying to find answers more than a week now since Nancy Guthrie was reported missing from her Tucson home. Over the weekend, the FBI and sheriff's deputies again extensively searching Nancy's property. Yesterday, examining what appears to be a septic tank in her backyard.
The Office of the Director of National Intelligence, led by Tulsi Gabbard, has seized voting machines from Puerto Rico as part of a probe tied to the 2020 election.
A renewed spotlight on the Jeffrey Epstein files, with a group of survivors appearing in a powerful PSA during the Super Bowl.
We're standing together.
Standing together.
Because this girl deserves the truth.
The video points to the 3 million files still not released. Starting today, members of Congress can begin reviewing the unredacted version of the millions of pages the Justice Department has released.
Welcome to the Turning Point USA All-American Halftime Show. And this one's for you, Charlie.
There's a book that's sitting in your house somewhere that could use some dusting off. There's a man who died for all our sins, hanging from the cross. You can give your life to Jesus, and he'll give you a second chance till you can't take it, until you can.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard today's edition of Human Events Daily. Today is February 9th, 2026, Anno Domini. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to announce that last night, the Turning Point USA All-American Halftime Show became the #1 YouTube live stream in America.
There's a box of greasy.
The #2 overall YouTube live stream in all of history throughout the entire world. And I don't know what to say other than thank you. I don't know what to say other than this is a turning point. This is a turning point for America. This is a turning point for our culture. This is a moment where patriots around the world came together and said, we want no more. We want no more of what we're getting from the mainstream. We want no more of what we're getting from big corporate America, from these big events. This is about the forgotten man and woman. This is about the tens of millions of people out there who just love their country, who just want to watch some football, enjoy a little country music, maybe a little rock music. Some of the best music in the world, by the way, the best performers, music that is indelibly associated with who we are as Americans, and yet music that has completely been overlooked and, in a sense, banned from the Super Bowl for years, for decades. It has been over 20 years since you've had a rock or a country artist at the Super Bowl. Over 20 years. What's going on with that? what's going on with that. We know what's going on. It's about shutting down American. Remember, Hank Williams Jr. used to open Monday Night Football. Are you ready for some football? Remember? And then he was canceled. And then everybody was getting canceled. Canceled. Everybody's canceled. And then until suddenly, only Jay-Z approved performers are allowed. Well, you know what? Last night something changed. And a message was sent. When you look at the numbers that went up there, so the 25 million that we have, that's just, so the 25 million is total YouTube and Rumble just from our main streaming channels. Of course, the folks here at Real America's Voice, and we just have to say, God bless you to the entire team at Real America's Voice, all of our partners, all of our streamers, the people at Rumble who absolutely stepped it up. You stood in the breach. You did what needed to be done, and you became an outlet for people to actually voice their own democratic sense of what they wanted in terms of a halftime show. And they chose this. And the number is going to get bigger because we're still crunching the numbers. So the 25 million, that's what we have as of last night that we can guarantee. We know the number is going to be bigger because we still have the other streams, the other partners, cable. That's all going to be coming in today. We're going to get it back to you. We're looking at 40 to 50 million. We're looking at 40 to 50 million total. But what's the most important thing? We stood up for our country. We stood up for our culture. And we stood up for our faith with a proclamation of Jesus Christ as the Son of God and King of the universe.
There are few things more aggravating than seeing your tax dollars wasted by the government. All too often, when big government tries to save the day, the funds sent around the world to help people in need are diverted by corrupt leaders to line their own pockets, enrich their cronies, or further an agenda that has nothing to do with helping their countrymen. You can do a better job at promoting freedom than any government can. Scan the QR code now or visit atlasnetwork.org/RAV today to join the worldwide freedom movement. With your gift of just $19 a month, we'll send you an Atlas Network exclusive hat. Plus, we'll send the print edition of our Freedom's Champion magazine to your door. We identify, train up, and celebrate local leaders as they work to make freedom a reality across the world. Our partners often risk everything: their reputations, their livelihoods, even their lives to fight for freedom in places where authoritarianism reigns. Visit atlasnetwork.org/RAV or scan the QR code to join our mission to help pro-freedom organizations around the world. Donate $19 a month to receive your exclusive Atlas Network hat. This is a monumental moment in American culture. This Sunday, Real America's Voice and Real America's Music come together to do what the mainstream industry won't: take the music back. Starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, we go live with exclusive free coverage of the Turning Point USA All-American Halftime Show, a patriotic alternative. For years, the left has weaponized the music industry, using it to push politics, erase values, and divide the country. That ends now. This all-American halftime show exists to celebrate American pride, traditional values, and artists who still stand with the heartland. Featuring Kid Rock, Brantley Gilbert, Lee Brice, and Gabby Barrett, artists who connect with real Americans. Join us live for coverage that turns the music industry on its head. Real America's Voice, Real America's Music, the TPUSA All-American Halftime Show.
Florida Sun Goddess here. Let me tell you why I love RAV. They let my voice be heard. They give me a platform for community so I don't feel alone. Thanks so much. God bless.
Hi, my name's Paul Foyer. I'm Foyer04 in the Getter Chat. I love RAV for all the Getter, all the War Room Posse, and all of you guys. Love y'all. Bye.
Nothing will stand in our way, and our golden age has just begun.
This is Human Events with Jack Posobiec.
Now it's time for everyone to understand what America First truly means.
Welcome to the Second American Revolution.
You know, I awoke one Sunday morning all alone with this song stuck in my head. And in that moment, something or someone spoke to me. They said there was still a verse that needed to be written for this song. And to get up and write it down. There's a book that's sitting in your house somewhere that could use some dusting off. There's a man who died for all our sins, hanging from the cross. You can give your life to Jesus, and he'll give you a second chance till you can't take it. If you got a chance, take it while you got a chance. If you got a dream, chase it, 'cause a dream won't chase you back. If you're gonna love somebody, hold them as long and as strong and as close as you can until you can.
I came here for the halftime show. The whole experience. Why aren't you playing Bad Bunny at the halftime show?
Because I put this halftime show on. Because this is what the majority. If you're filming me, get out.
I'm filming you. Why are you doing that? Why don't you play Bad Bunny?
Because the majority of my
get out.
Hey,
I'm gonna pay first.
Luke, this is why.
I gotta pay
This is
first.
why I said no.
I gotta pay first. But I'm asking a question. I'm not being violent.
Cash you out? I'll cash you
Yeah,
out.
I gotta pay first.
Yeah,
I shouldn't pay.
What's your
because I
tab
came here
under?
for the full experience.
What's your tab under?
Show you something. Which show to put
Super
on?
Bowl
Okay,
experience.
what's your...
We're at the zoo, and the zoo refuses to play Bad Bunny for some reason during the halftime show. They want to play somebody else. All right? I'm going to put this on my social media.
There you go, baby.
Good.
All right?
There you go. There's your tab. You have a good night. Thank you.
You might get customers, you might lose a lot of customers. Because you might look like a radio station.
All right, folks, Jack Posobiec, here we are, Human Events Daily. We're back today with just, again, nothing but gratitude. I have nothing but gratitude for the people of this audience, the people of this country, the people who said yes to this idea of an all-American halftime show. We put this on in just a couple of months' time. The Turning Point team for being able to do what they did. It's incredible. Incredible to have something that, look, I may have had the initial tweet on this, but the inspiration was Charlie. And the inspiration was all Charlie, this idea that you should have a halftime show that's just for America. It's for you. That's what we did. And that's why people responded the way that they did. Because people want patriotism. They want American culture. They want American, English language, and they want Christian faith. And that's exactly what we delivered. Plus, I got to say, I think it was a pretty good show. Just saying. Of course I'm going to say that anyway because it's my show. But, just saying, we put it on. But I think it's objectively good show. Objectively good show. Folks, if you are anything like me, the holidays were brutal. Every healthy habit gone. Desserts, late nights, skipped workouts. But now that we're in the new year, it's time to reset. Let's undo all that and make a New Year's resolution that actually give our bodies what they need. For me and my family, the fresh start begins with Cove Pure. Now, here's the thing. Everyone jumps into the new year buying new supplements, trying new diet or workouts, but they completely ignore the most important basic thing, water. Even mild dehydration impacts energy, focus, metabolism. When you think about all the garbage that's in our water, you're starting behind the curve before you even begin. Now, Cove Pure's Clear Wave technology is certified to remove up to 99% off of contaminants. Pretty much anything that isn't water. PFAS, microplastics, pharmaceutical residue, fluoride. It all gets removed. It's the purest water you can get. And what I love most about Cove Pure is it lets you choose the temperature of your water, hot, cold, warm. It makes your water taste so good. Pure, clean, no aftertaste. Cove Pure makes it so easy to get pure water with the push of a button. So this year, make a New Year's resolution that sticks. Improve your health with clean water right now. You can get $200 off for a limited time if you use my link, covepure.com/Poso. That's COVEPURE.com/Poso to start this year right. All right, folks. So, just incredible situation that we find ourselves in. The number 1 American YouTube live stream. And I'm crunching the numbers on this. By the way, so I saw there was this controversy, and I'll lay cards on the table. Kid Rock was singing live. Not only was I there to hear it, I was there behind the scenes when Ball with the Ball was playing, and it was, of course, my favorite Kid Rock song, and we have footage of it so we can put all of this to rest. Yes, he was singing. However, there was an audio sync issue on the stream. I haven't identified exactly where that came from, but the engineering grundoons have told me that that's exactly what it was. It was an audio sync issue. This came up a couple of times. I think he even came up with the cellos, which the string section, amazing. Tanya Tay loved it more than anything, but because she said, my gosh, actual high culture, which, is something with the performers, Antonio and Allison, got to speak to them. Marin, I got to speak to them a little bit when they showed up, as they were getting ready. And it was just incredible, just really great, incredibly talented people. Everyone was so talented. Gabby, I think Gabby blew a lot of people away, Gabby Barrett, because this idea that people were not as well known as, some of the other performers, I think, because she's younger, she's up and coming, only 25, by the way. But to put on a show like this at 25, to be part of that, I think she's going to go on to be an absolute icon. And I think she already is, quite frankly. And I do want to go, let's play that Backstage clip again for people so that we can see. And if you look closely, just go ahead and watch. The only person lip syncing in this is me. So right there, right? It's very clear that that's what's going on. And, to all the haters out there, the naysayers, it's just like, come at us. Come at us. I want to go out. There's a tweet I saw, because this has been going back and forth about the sort of the back and forth between the different shows. And I want to read this. So Danielle Jurinsky, good Polish name there, by the way. And does it say where she is from? Former Aurora City Council. So there you go. And is that Aurora, Colorado? Aurora City? So yeah, it looks like Aurora City. Or no, Aurora, or it doesn't actually specify. So it could be Aurora, Illinois, or Aurora, Colorado. It doesn't specify. I'm not gonna dox her, whatever. And no, it does look like it's Illinois, actually. All right, no, wrong, Aurora, Colorado. All right, right the first time. Listen to this. I run a business, a sports bar, JJ's Place. Well, she says it there anyway. Yesterday, 80% of the bar wanted the Turning Point halftime show. The rest wanted Bad Bunny. To accommodate, I put the TVs on half and half. The 20% started canceling orders, taking to social media, calling me a racist, being disrespectful to my staff, and leaving 1-star reviews on Google and Yelp. Mind you, the 80% who wanted the Turning Point halftime show weren't happy that Bad Bunny stayed on, but they didn't leave me a bad review, take to social media, cancel my orders, or disrespect my staff. It has become impossible to run a business. I support 3 generations of my family on a sole income and try to accommodate everyone. The bar business is not what it used to be. Sad day. I want to do something for her. So, guys, if you're at JJ, let's look this up, JJ's Place, and let's see, does JJ's Place have online ordering? So we're going to JJ's Place right now. I'm looking it up, jjsplaceaurora.com. So go to jjsplaceaurora.com right now. And guys, if you can, go and, go out there and buy gift certificates for them. If you're in the area, go and support them, support JJ's Place. Go out there, order your large party reservations from them. Go and do what you can to support these guys. I feel so terrible that this happened to her bar. I feel so sad that this happened. So do what you can. Be positive in the moment. Support JJ's Place if you live in the area. And if you want to go online, just think of online ways that we can coordinate. Go and buy a gift certificate or something like that. Even if you know you're never going to cash it in, they'll still be able to, they'll still be able to get the money for that. And just go out there and again, be a positive change for force, a positive force for change. That's what this is all about. This is what this movement is all about. This is about taking back the culture. This is about standing up for America. This is about standing up for Christ, which Kid Rock, of all people, was able to do on that stage. And I'll tell you guys, I did not have dry eyes by the end of that song, and I don't think when he did Till You Can't, and I don't think any of us did, honestly. That was incredible. It was a moment, and I'm just honored to be a very small part of this. I promised you history, and this was historic. Right back, Human Events.
This is a monumental moment in American culture. This Sunday, Real America's Voice and Real America's Music come together to do what the mainstream industry won't. Take the music back. Starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, we go live with exclusive free coverage of the Turning Point USA All-American Halftime Show, a patriotic alternative. For years, the left has weaponized the music industry, using it to push politics, erase values, and divide the country. That ends now. This All-American Halftime Show exists to celebrate American pride, traditional values, and artists who still stand with the heartland. Featuring Kid Rock, Brantley Gilbert, Lee Brice, and Gabby Barrett, artists who connect with real Americans. Join us live for coverage that turns the music industry on its head. Real America's Voice, Real America's Music, the TPUSA All-American Halftime Show.
Hi, my name is Tracy L. from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
When the bacon wants real facts and figures, he goes to RAV. Real America's Voice, baby. That's where you get the real scoop and not the poop.
My name is TJ Ash from Carbonville, Utah. Real America's Voice lets me express my conservative views without censorship or edit.
Hello, this is Kurt. Why do I love RAV? If you ever talk to the host, you can do that on RAV. And the RAV family, they'll talk back to you too. Let you know what's going on. Take care.
Today, they talk about influencers. These are influencers, and they're friends of mine. Jack Posobiec. Where's Jack? Jack, he's done a great job.
All right, folks, Jack Posobiec, we're back live here. Human Events Daily, Real America's Voice, going through just the incredible history, incredible numbers of the historic moment. The Turning Point USA All-American Halftime Show. And I wanted to get in Evita Duffy, my favorite anti-communist, who watched the show. She also helped, played a huge role, made this video that went super viral on X yesterday, just promoting it. And she's been out there talking about the show and analyzing it from a cultural perspective. So that's why I wanted to get in. Evita, how are you?
Doing good, Jack. Thanks so much for having me. And congratulations on such an incredible show last night.
Well, thank you. And it's the numbers are staggering. I honestly haven't even been able to process the amount. I mean, we may have had as many as 40 to 50 million is what the territory that we're looking at in terms of when everything is said and done. But Evita, so when you're looking at it from that perspective, I love the way you put it earlier today when you're on Fox and Friends. Walk us through, why was it that this hit so perfectly with Americans during the Super Bowl?
Well, I think it comes down to what the Super Bowl is supposed to represent. I mean, this is like a civic moment for America, usually. This is supposed to be an iconic American cultural time for us to come together and celebrate who we are as a people. And what the NFL did by selecting Bad Bunny, who was just at the Grammys saying F ICE, is alienate half the country. Say this cultural event, this Super Bowl, it's not for you guys. We're gonna do some political grandstanding, and we had foreign flags. The entire halftime show was in a foreign language, so they took this thing that was supposed to be so beautiful and unifying and turned it into a humiliation ritual for Americans. And what Turning Point USA did was say, you know what? We don't have to participate. We don't have to participate in the NFL's humiliation ritual. We don't have to sit here and take it as they destroy our culture, our identity. They spit on us and the fans of the NFL. And again, Turning Point USA offered us an off-ramp and a way to celebrate who we are as Americans without giving our money to the NFL.
And it's just an amazing time where so many people look. It was just a good show, and honestly the production value I think was fantastic. I mean, Evita, you're obviously, you weren't there when we were putting this all together, and I kept telling people, I was like, guys, I've seen the rehearsals, this is going to be good. Like, I'm not going to come up here every day and say something's going to be good when it's not going to be good. Like, and I kept people texting me, oh my gosh, Jack, that was so good. I'm like, I told you it'd be good. Why didn't you listen when I said that? But now, people are saying it. But just from that perspective of a show, Evita, do you think it showed that Turning Point, that conservative organizations actually can get it right when it comes to putting on a show that regular Americans are going to like?
Well, not only did they do a phenomenal job, Jack, and it was a complete success, but everybody has to also keep in mind there was not a lot of time to even put this together. Turning Point USA is not like the NFL halftime show where they have an entire year to prepare. And not only that, but they have teams of people who have been doing this for years. Turning Point USA put on an incredible show. This isn't even what they do, right? They put on conferences with speakers most of the time, and they only had 2 months to do it. So can you imagine what they're going to be able to accomplish next year? And I saw Andrew said yesterday that this is definitely going to happen again next year, which I think is amazing. But can you imagine what they're going to be able to do in the future? What they've only accomplished in 2 months is just incredible.
For the record, so we're sitting there with Andrew, and he and I are going back and forth all day yesterday, and he's like, I'm going to say we should do it again next year. And I'm like, are you sure you're going to say that? He's like, yeah. I'm like, did you go through that with anybody? He's like, let's just do it. He's like, did you have anyone's approval when you started tweeting about it this time? I was like, okay, fair. So, it's at the end of the day, though, this is what Charlie was all about. Having something that's positive, having something that respects America, having something that praises Jesus. It's it's actually simple, right? People want to talk about the complexities of these issues, but they're not complex, actually. They're very simple issues. There are tens of millions of people in this country who love this type of content, who love this type of music, and they're sick and tired of being told that there's something wrong with them just because they were born an American.
Yes, Jack. So first of all, I have a lot of family who's fluent in Spanish. This is not like an anti-Spanish language thing. This is, the Super Bowl halftime show should be in English. English is the language of the United States of America. period. But if you listen to the lyrics and you're a Spanish speaker, you know what Bad Bunny was saying. Obscene lyrics from Bad Bunny. And so it's not a family event. The NFL halftime show has
I have to ask. So because I was there with the Spanish speaker, and he was like, I couldn't, really pick it up. And I've seen this stuff floating around. Is that real? Are those lyrics that in the translation that have been going around? That's real? Because I saw Daily Mail just reported this too. A bunch of people. Are you serious? He was really saying that stuff?
Well, so he's not a very good Spanish speaker. So a lot of like real Spanish speakers are like, it took us a second to figure out what he was saying, but yes, the
he's
lyrics
kind of mumbling. It's like
incredibly horrific. Yeah, I mean he's not really articulating his words. So like it's kind of funny. Spanish language speakers were like, I know that you non-Spanish speakers said you didn't understand the halftime show. We didn't either, and we're fluent in Spanish. But once you actually look up the real lyrics, they are bad. They are very, very bad.
Wow, because that's why. And by the way, so I pre-taped the Piers Morgan show, and it'll come out later today. But we talked about this as well, and he was saying, well, you guys just don't like it because it's Bad Bunny. You have a problem with him, and I actually pointed out something a lot of people don't realize. This isn't the first time Bad Bunny has played the Super Bowl show, the halftime show. When Shakira, who again, not American, right? She's Colombian, but everybody likes Shakira because it's like just good music, right? I mean, if you're into that, like my wife likes Shakira, and Jennifer Lopez, also Puerto Rican, right? But again, like she's not political, or at least she wasn't at the time. But who was the backup singer who did like the duet with Shakira on stage was Bad Bunny. I think it was like 2019 or so. And so the point being is nobody had a problem with him when he wasn't political, when he wasn't divisive, when he wasn't trying to say like your culture is wrong and my culture is better, and make all these which are obviously overtly political statements. Nobody had a problem when he was just up there singing. Nobody had a problem when he was just up there performing. That's what it's about. Don't sit there and tell me. And by the way, like America's had La Bamba came out in what, like 1957 with like Richie Valens, like who's a Mexican singer, and it was like the #1 song in America for how long? Like America has had lots of Spanish language music for a long time. Right back, Human Event, Jack.
This is a monumental moment in American culture. This Sunday, Real America's Voice and Real America's Music come together to do what the mainstream industry won't. Take the music back. Starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, we go live with exclusive pre-coverage of the Turning Point USA All-American Halftime Show, a patriotic alternative. For years, the left has weaponized the music industry, using it to push politics, erase values, and divide the country. That ends now. This all-American halftime show exists to celebrate American pride, traditional values, and artists who still stand with the heartland. Featuring Kid Rock, Brantley Gilbert, Lee Brice, and Gabby Barrett, artists who connect with real Americans. Join us live for coverage that turns the music industry on its head. Real America's Voice, Real America's Music, the TPUSA All-American Halftime Show.
Hi, my name is Tracy L. from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
When the bacon wants real facts and figures, he goes to Rab. Real America's Voice, baby. That's where you get the real scoop and not the poop.
My name is T.J. Ash from Carbonville, Utah. Real America's Voice lets me express my conservative views without censorship or editing.
Hello, this is Kurt. Why do I love Rav? You ever talk to the host? You can do that on Rav. And the Rav family, they'll talk back to you too. Let you know what's going on. Take care.
Jack? Where's Jack? Where's Jack? Where is he? Jack, I want to see you. Great job, Jack. Thank you. What a job you do. You know, we have an incredible thing. We're always talking about the fake news and the bad, but we have guys, and these are the guys who should be getting Pulitzers.
All right, Jack Posobiec, here we are back live, Human Events Daily. Folks, you know, I've been telling you guys, you got to pay attention to what is happening with the dollar, with debt, with central banks. It's all piling up. And when things get rocky, gold has always been the safe haven. But now gold isn't just defensive, it's an offensive asset. And that's why I've been working with my partners at Allegiance Gold for the past 3 years. They help you protect your savings and retirement with real physical gold and silver, not paper promises. And right now, Allegiance Gold is making it even better. They'll donate 1% of qualified investments from this Human Events audience, our Human Events audience, to Turning Point USA or another great America First organization, in addition to the 1% you already qualify for. So you can protect your wealth and support the movement at the same time. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Don't overthink it. Don't wait until it's late. See what's going on with gold today. Call 844-577-7676 or visit protectwithposo.com. That's 844-577-7676, protectwithposo.com. Protect your future and stand with me fighting for America. Folks, what can I say? This was done by the sheer will of the grassroots, the American people, this movement, Charlie's spirit, and the power of Jesus Christ. And that's it. We don't have the corporate backers. We don't have the budget, you know, of the Super Bowl or any of those things. But we have the power of Christ, and we have America, and we have patriotism, and we have Charlie's leadership. And that's what we're on. That is what it's all about. Evita Duffy is our guest here. You know, Evita, I don't even almost want to talk about Bad Bunny as much because this became so much bigger than that. I feel like it really just feels like so many people, and this is what I've been hearing over and over in terms of response, people are just like, that's it. That's what I want in a halftime show. That's the type of music. That's the type of performance. I want to see something where people are praising Christ. I want to see something where there's some good rock, some country. Gabby Barrett, you know, only 25 and able to do what she's doing. 3 kids, by the way, already at 25. Let's go. Evita's working on number 1, as we all know. And it's just, I don't know. It's a cool thing. And I guess, Evita, my question is, are we back?
You know, it felt like we're back. I mean, last night, I felt so hopeful. I felt like the spirit of Charlie was really present. And it was present through all of our screens as we were watching it. I mean, Charlie, he really did deeply understand that his mission was to address the identity crisis, the spiritual crisis that our country is facing. And you can do that in really unique and creative ways. This halftime show alternative was one of them. You know, Jack, I'll say, I actually don't hate Spanish language music. I'm Hispanic myself, of Spanish descent. One of my favorite singers is Selena Quintanilla. She died at a very young age, murdered horribly.
Oh, Selena, yeah.
If you see the movie with J-Lo, you know, but she was a Tejano singer. If Selena had done which has like a, you know, Tejano music is a mix of English and Mexican and polka music. As a Polish guy, you should love that. If she'd done a halftime show, I think it would have been a celebration of, you know, a regional unique sound in American culture. That was not what Bad Bunny did. Bad Bunny, he was explicitly through his rhetoric, also through his music, through the flags, they are expressing a political ideology that the idea of borders, of sovereignty, of American cultural identity is somehow bad and hateful. That was the purpose. And you and everybody at Turning Point, through the vision of Charlie, offered an alternative.
Well, that does actually bring up a point that I should discuss and we should deconstruct something that happened at the end of the Bad Bunny performance, which doesn't have anything to do with him specifically, but it's about the political message. Because I kept hearing people say, oh, it's not political, it's not political. Yes, it was. It was overtly political. And the overt politicization was very simple because people are going, oh, he said, God bless America. He said, God bless America. I said, yeah, he said that, but look at what he's doing. He's trying to redefine America and to redefine what that word means. Because then what he did was he went through this entire list of countries from Latin America to Canada and even some countries in South America. And he was trying to, and then what was it? So I don't know if we have that clip of where he's standing with all the flags, guys. And then he holds up this football and everybody's missed the football. What did it say on the football? Together, we are America. Okay, this is an open borders halftime show. This is a show that says there are no borders, that anyone can just travel between. This is like the North American Union that people were talking about for years. That's what that was about. That was the political message that he's sending. We're all America. We're all. That's not what people mean when they say America. When I say all American, and I've got it on the screen here, everybody knows what that means. Everybody knows that has a specific meaning that does not require explanation to anyone. And what he is trying to push is an extremely radical ideology of open borders, of every, look at the flags. Look at all these foreign flags, right? Look at all this all of this. This is open borders, like we're going to be like the EU, because, the EU doesn't really have country borders anymore. So we're going to open up all the borders and everyone can just travel in and out, la, la, la. That's what they want. That's the open borders agenda on full display. So to anyone who thinks this is not political, guys, open your eyes. They're flying the foreign flags right in front of your face. Evita, am I wrong on this? That's why they attack ICE.
You're right, and that's why I said at the start that it's a humiliation ritual. They made us sit through an erasure of American culture and identity.
Yes.
And I mean, Jack, you have the foreign flags, you have the foreign language. It's totally open borders. It's multiculturalism. It's the idea, diversity is our strength. And it's so key to understand. They want to celebrate and respect the cultural diversity of every single peoples across the globe, right? Everyone. And we're going to celebrate them all. We're going to respect them all, except for the one right here. The one right here, they completely disrespect and they do it. They did it on full display yesterday by erasing American cultural identity and refusing to platform it on our civic experience. This is a day of a celebration of America. That's what the Super Bowl and the halftime show is supposed to be. They purposely did not celebrate America because they hate America, because they want to erase America. That is why this diversity is our strength, multiculturalism halftime show was actually a humiliation ritual and a spit in the face of all of the fans and Americans everywhere.
No, it's all about spitting in the face. It's all about the idea that, and by the way, they never say this for other countries. They never say, Japan needs to do this. They never say China needs to do this. They never say any of the African nations need to do this. No, it's only America, European countries. We see it in Poland when, I've gone and done reporting on that as well. Where they, and by the way, and what are they doing in Spain right now, Evita? What do they do? They're naturalizing and legalizing 500,000 African and Muslim illegal aliens, and they're suddenly going to be Spanish all of a sudden. Wait a minute. I thought that this was about, supporting. So it's like they don't even support the culture that they are promoting.
It's the end of Spanish sovereignty, and they want to do that here. Just so everybody's clear. I mean, what's happening in Spain, sometimes, we can get focused on what's happening in America. We're a big country. What's happening in Spain is complete and total fundamental erasure of Spanish identity, of Spanish culture, of the future of Spain, because they are legalizing, naturalizing all these people who are not Spanish, who will now drown out the vote and the voices of actual Spaniards So their country's dead. Their country is done. That is what they want here. That is what Biden tried to facilitate with the open borders. That's what Democrats want to do right now by refusing to pass election integrity laws, which, by the way, over 80% of Americans support, Democrats included. So this is happening right now. The halftime show is part of that erasure. That's why when people say it's not political, I get so frustrated because, Jack, it's explicitly political. It's so easy to understand that it's political, and it's part of a broader movement to erode and destroy sovereignty in this country.
Well, and you will have a minute left, but Evita, in many ways, what they're doing in Spain is, here we are, it's over 1,000 years later, but it's the second Moorish invasion. That's what it is. It's the second Moorish invasion of Spain, and what it will require then is a second Reconquista, because Spain is revered throughout history for having dealt with this issue before and being able to succeed by fighting back and putting Christ, as Ferdinand and Isabella, by putting Christ first, and eventually were able to win back their country. Evita Duffy, where can people follow you?
Evita Duffy _1 on Instagram and X. You can follow my husband, Alfonso for Congress, FOR.com. He's running in Wisconsin.
All right. God bless, Evita. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for translating those wonderful Bad Bunny lyrics so the rest of us didn't have to. Right back, Human Events Daily.
This is a monumental moment in American culture. This Sunday, Real America's Voice and Real America's Music come together to do what the mainstream industry won't. Take the music back. Starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, we go live with exclusive free coverage of the Turning Point USA All-American Halftime Show, a patriotic alternative. For years, the left has weaponized the music industry, using it to push politics, erase values, and divide the country. That ends now. This all-American halftime show exists to celebrate American pride, traditional values, and artists who still stand with the heartland. Featuring Kid Rock, Brantley Gilbert, Lee Brice, and Gabby Barrett, artists who connect with real Americans. Join us live for coverage that turns the music industry on its head. Real America's Voice, Real America's Music, the TPUSA All-American Halftime Show.
Hi, my name is Tracy L. from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
When the bacon wants real facts and figures, he goes to Rab. Real America's Voice, baby. That's where you get the real scoop and not the poop.
My name is TJ Ash from Carbonville, Utah. Real America's Voice lets me express my conservative views without censorship or edit.
Hello, this is Kurt. Why do I love Rav? You ever talk to the host? You can do that on Rav. And the Rav family, they'll talk back to you too. Let you know what's going on. Take care.
He's a great guy. He's written a fantastic book. Everybody's talking about it. Go get it. And he's been my friend right from the beginning of this whole beautiful event. And we're going to turn it around and make our country great again. Amen.
All right, folks, Jack Posobiec, we're back here. Human Events Daily, Real America's Voice. Just still going through the fallout, but also the incredible aftermath, the after action report, the All-American Halftime Show, Turning Point USA, #1 American live stream in YouTube history, #1 entertainment live stream in YouTube history, #1 English live stream in YouTube history. What else? I mean, just incredible. Absolutely incredible. And #2 overall. Number two, the only one that beat us is the Indian lunar probe. So the Indian lunar probe is the only thing that ever beat that came above. It's incredible. Just I don't even know what to say. I literally and honestly don't even know what to say other than thank you and all glory to God, because it's all God, as Charlie would say. All glory to God. Cliff Maloney joins us now from Citizens Alliance, the PA Chase. Cliff, you and I, obviously, we didn't care too much about the game because the birds weren't in it, at least not the real birds. And but I got to say, you had an interesting scoop from the NFL, from inside the NFL, regarding the All-American Halftime Show at TPUSA. Tell us what you learned and tell us what it means.
Yeah, so look, I have a source. He's an old friend of mine who works in production, does graphics. I'm not going to out him. He'd lose his job immediately. But he just texted me and he said, they're furious. The executives, the advertisers, obviously they had a huge night themselves, right? I'm not saying that, but why they're furious, Jack, is the threat, right? It's the fear that they're having because of the success of the All-American Halftime Show. Look, they've never had competition, right? They've had a monopoly on the halftime show. It's almost like when Uber finally had to deal with Lyft competing with them, right? It's not that people are saying, oh, Uber's now failing. It's like, no. Now there's a competition, right? Now the American people have a voice when it comes to the culture and a voice when it comes to the decision of the most watched televised sporting event in America, right? Almost in the world, if you don't count the Olympics. So to me, that's what they're afraid of. So I loved when I got that inside scoop. And obviously all the radical left, oh, that never happened. That never happened. Tell us your source. No, that's how the guy gets fired. But they are scared that an alternative has finally been presented. And this is our way to fight back against the culture to actually put America first.
And it's Cliff, you look at demographics when you're talking about voting patterns, when you're conducting universes, when you're pulling numbers. This is the type of thing that what brought out what you and I, of course, and TP Action on, put our political hats on here for a second. This was something that got the low prop voters. This was something that engaged low prop voters in a way that I don't know if anything political has in quite some time. It wasn't political, right? But this is that population, that massive silent majority that's out there saying, guys, we want to have our country the way that it's always been. We don't want all of this stuff jammed down our throats. This open borders halftime show that was put on by the NFL. And they voted with their remote controls, didn't they?
Jack, you always say this, and I want to double down on it. The American people love nostalgia, right? We like to think back to tradition. We like to think back to a simpler time when we weren't being bombarded with political messages at sporting events. And what happened was to see the alternative. Look, there's built-in audience, right? This is a football game. Like you said, the low prop voters that typically would be forced to watch some of the garbage and the nonsense, they're now watching Kid Rock. They're now watching patriotic Americans singing. And so you're right. And this is what scares them. Think about this. CNN never cracks 1 million viewers. They average like 700,000 viewers in prime time. For the Turning Point halftime show to have over 6 million concurrent viewers, that is what scares them politically here. Because you are tapping into a lot of those.
Wait, Cliff. 6 million on one stream. 6 million on just one stream. So we're told 10 to 15 million concurrent across all streams, and possibly as many when you put it all together, 40 to 50 million in the entire audience. 40 to 50 million people across all of our partners, all of the OTT, RAV, all the rest of it. I mean, that's 1/5 of the Super Bowl audience. That's huge.
That's finally tapping into not just the audience we're looking for, but tapping into the culture. And this is where we have to give Charlie credit, right? So many people were afraid there's no way we're ever going to win back the young people. We accomplished that in 2024. The next step here is taking on the culture battle. And to see this, once again, it's not about beating them at their own ratings. right? We're a bunch of kids. I'm talking about Turning Point, giving Turning Point credit here. A bunch of kids who came together to say, we want our culture back. And we just got tens of millions of people to turn off the NFL and to tune in to this concert. That's power, baby. That's the messaging. That's winning the culture battle. And I do think this is just the beginning.
And it's an understanding. It's an understanding of where we are that. And look, I'm going to be on Piers Morgan. I taped it earlier today. It's going to come out later. But one of the things I said was, Piers, this type of music, rap, has been dominant at the Super Bowl, Latin music as well. You haven't had rock and country music be shown or even platformed at all at the Super Bowl for decades. This is a completely underserved market. And so why not step up and say, you know what? We'll be your Huckleberry. Come and watch us, watch our show. We're here for you. We're not going to give you some messaging other than, you know what? I love the USA. And you know something else? Jesus Christ, he's a pretty good guy. You know, like that's the messaging for us. And you know what? I think for a lot of Americans, they said, finally, something that just meets me where I am and isn't trying to talk down to me. That's the whole point. If you want to talk about MAGA, this is the distillation of the MAGA movement. This is why Donald Trump was able to come down the escalator and be elected 3 times, I'll just say it, because and by the way, Donald Trump himself isn't also, by the way, there's a lot of nostalgia value baked into his brand, right? 80s, 90s, when America was great. Nobody talks about it that way, but he was an icon. He was a figure of that time frame. And so we're moving that part of America forward. Like, you know, Kid Rock, Woodstock 99, the rest of it, these high points of American culture. And yes, obviously I know that was a controversial event as well. But the point is this is what the country used to be about at its core. And it's high time that we stop trying to pretend it's not.
The people are hungry, Jack. The American people are hungry. They want real Americano. They don't want the woke garbage. That's what was delivered last night. And look, I think this is just the start. We've got to do plenty of events like this to push back on the culture. When the mainstream media and the uniparty controls the message, we are never going to win. But when we can have a counter message, when we can figure out ways to insert ourselves, that is how we get our country back. And last night was a great example of taking an idea, executing, and winning.
Cliff, what can I say, man? I gotta admit that when Kid Rock, when the lights went down and Ball with the Boss started playing up, and then I was looking around on the stage, I'm like, where's Kid? Where's Kid? And then he does the jump, the pop-up jump. Just chills. Absolute chills. So cool to see. By the way, for the record, I did ask if I could test the Kid Rock springboard, and I was told absolutely not.
They saw you testing the pyros.
I also wanted to mess around with the pyro. I was told no to a lot of things, but we had a great time doing it. Cliff, where can people go and follow you, brother?
Yeah, on X at Maloney. Poso, big congrats to you, the whole Turning Point team. You guys pulled it off.
No, it's a team effort. God bless Cliff. You were there, of course, when we had the election live stream. You've been a part of the Turning Point family. There's no question. So make sure everyone's following Cliff. To everyone out there, TPUSA is only getting bigger, is only getting better. This movement is only getting stronger because we don't stand for them. We stand for you. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, you have my permission, I assure.
vocalist Natasha Owens, known for standout singles like Trump One and Somali Waltz, comes her brand new release, The Boss, released on Real America's Music. This is the direct response to Bruce Springsteen's recent release, The Streets of Minneapolis. While Springsteen once branded himself as a voice of the working class, The Boss gives a voice to everyday Americans and reminds listeners who truly shapes the future. The Real America's Voice audience has the power to move charts and shake the industry. Download it right now. Scan the QR code or search The Boss on iTunes.